Good evening, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the games I've finished this year. So, during the year we took part in the 52 game club challenge, which is to complete 52 games in a year. So I managed to get 76 games done this year. So I've got a couple of stats here I'll run through just quickly. So the top two consoles that I played were the Switch with 19 games, and then the PS5 with 23 games, which is no bad considering the PS5 has got no games, allegedly. You know, you hear these people saying like the PS5's got no games, but I can assure you that they've at least got 23 games. And also we did 53 games physically and 23 games digitally. And again, of course, I like collecting games. I love collecting games and playing games, but more importantly to me is the playing of the game. So I don't mind if it's digital or if it's physical. I do prefer physical, of course, but if it's digital, if that's the only way to play a game, then I'll play a game that way. As well, if there's no-brainer deals on the Switch store, then I'll be grabbing them 10 times out of 10. Like, if a game's like £2 or £3, I'm definitely going to grab that. So I don't want to prolong it too long because there's quite a few to get through here. So we'll just start off with, so I've wrote them all down. So the first game that I played was Gris, and that was a digital game on the Switch. Very nice indie game with lovely kind of pastel work kind of colours, graphics. Really nice. Second game, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, sorry. Brilliant game. My god, let's try this again. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Class game. Played it back in the day on the PSP. Really enjoyed it and enjoyed playing through it again. It's just brilliant. It's Final Fantasy VII. There's no bad thing about Final Fantasy VII. Absolutely love it. So second game, next game was Bayonetta 3 on the Switch. Got that for Christmas last year. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Played through the first two a while ago, and then got this on Christmas. Absolutely mental game. Absolutely mental. A real kind of, for me, I thought it was quite a powerhouse for the Switch. It was full of action, fast paced, lovely graphics, colourful, and you got to play as the daughter of Bayonetta, which was Viola. Class game. Next one was, oh my god, it's out of sync, sorry. Oh, that's going to annoy me. No, I've got it now. Next game was Plague Tale Innocence. I just want to make sure the games are in it because I've moving them around as I was playing them. Sorry, Plague Tale Innocence, fantastic game, great duo of games as well. Loved it, loved every second of this. The second one is even better and it's in this pile as well. Next one was Game Boy Advance game, which was Zelda and the Minish Cap. Really cool, old school Zelda, like classic Zelda, the Zelda that you want to play. It was really good, and this is done in conjunction with Capcom. So really cool, really enjoyed it. Was it done by Capcom? I'm pretty sure it was with Capcom. Doesn't say it on there, but I'm like 99% sure Capcom were involved in that. Next game was MotorStorm Apocalypse. Class arcade racer. I played the other ones before. Never finished the other ones like to the end, but this one has got quite a cool story mode. It's got like a comic book kind of arc to it as well. The way it kind of displays the story is through like a comic book. It's really good. Really enjoyed it. Really fast. The environments are like the star of the show because they all change every lap that you do. A building will fall, or a bridge will fall, or like a bloody a jet will come in and just blow up the ground and things like that. It's just really good and keeps you in the edge of your seat. Fantastic racer. Next game was Epic Mickey 2. So I played this as part of Omega Ace's Disney competition that he ran, I think, well, yeah, towards the beginning of the year. Brilliant game. I really enjoyed the first one. I played the first one on the Wii, and then I played the second one obviously on the PS3. Really enjoyable, and yeah, saw it through to the end. You had to finish off a game and record the end boss footage and send it off to Omega Ace, and he put it on his stream, and aye, it was really good fun. Next game was Digital, and it was Rachel Foster, so that was recommended by Ross Bahaha. Really good game. It's really quite creepy. It's not like a horror game though, it's just the kind of settings eerie where you're in a hotel and you're kind of stranded there, and there's a blizzard coming, like a snowstorm. It kind of gave off vibes of like The Shining, so it did, and you found things scattered around the hotel in different rooms and things like that, and it felt like maybe the story was going to go one way, but it didn't. It was really good. It kept you kind of thinking and guessing, and I enjoyed that one. Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda. Played this year as well. So I played the trilogy last year, and then I played Andromeda this year. And a lot of folk hate this game. I know me and Jen Pixel, we are advocates of this game. We really do quite enjoy it. I don't think it's bad. I think a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't Shepard. But in my opinion, Shepard's story was done, and they had to move on. And I thought this was really good. I don't really understand all the hate of it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. You went to different planets, things like that, and it was good. Next game was, nope, it was this one here. So this is a fake copy. I'm pretty sure of it because the only other copies I've seen of this are kind of like, they've got like a clear case, and this is a grey case. And I'm sure that if you hold up to a light, you should be able to see like numbers imprinted or something like that. And this doesn't have it. But anyway, it's Metal Gear Solid on the Game Boy. This was really cool. It's not canon to the Metal Gear Solid universe. It's got its own story. But there was one really cool boss in it, and it was called something Marionette, or Marionette something, I can't remember. But it was really cool. And when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4 as well this year, there was a boss fight with Psycho Mantis. Well, not Psycho Mantis, but the Psycho Mantis girl, kind of the Beast, Beauty and the Beasts, man, I can't speak. But that Psycho Mantis, Beauty and the Beast was kind of like Marionette from this. It kind of took similarities because she would control like these little puppets, and you had to shoot the puppets in Metal Gear Solid 4, and it just kind of reminded me of the Marionette boss in this one. Next one was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty these games get slated to no end, but I absolutely love them. I just love the campaigns of them. I love the kind of simplicity of them. I've not played number 3. I think 3 everyone's complaining about. It's just like a big DLC. But I would like to play 3 just because of if it's got a campaign. I don't even know if it's got a campaign. I know Christopher Judge said at his speech last year that the Video Game Awards was longer than the Call of Duty campaign this year. But listen, I love the campaigns. The campaigns are cool. They're very blockbuster. They don't outstay their welcome, and it's got good writing, good graphics, good set pieces, and just a good playthrough. Even if you don't like go back for all the trophies or anything like that, just one playthrough is just really cool, and it keeps you entertained. Next one was Callisto Protocol. So again, this one a lot of people didn't like because everyone had the expectations that it was going to be the next iteration of Dead Space, which it kind of is and kind of isn't. It's its own thing, and it definitely needs to be played because it's worth a playthrough, and it's really cool. Graphics are amazing, set pieces top notch, absolutely top notch, and creepy as hell. Obviously, it was made by Glenn Schofield, so the guy that made Dead Space. So there was always going to be them similarities and comparisons. And whereas it is a sci-fi in space horror. It's got all the Dead Space tropes, but it's its own thing, and it's definitely worth a go. You shouldn't let it go by because of the reviews that say it was shite because it's not Dead Space. It wasn't meant to be Dead Space. Kinda. Good game though. Next one, Call of Duty 3. So this one was played in homage. This one, we all played this one in love and memory of Jonathan Retrokit. This was one of his favourite games ever made, and unfortunately passed away this year, which is just an absolute travesty. It's not, obviously, I don't know, I can't really, it's not a nice thing. But anyway, had a lot of fun with this game. It's a game that I've never played before, but I used to like playing the Medal of Honor games back on the PS1 with Medal of Honor Underground, and Medal of Honor Frontline on the PS2 was absolutely spectacular, and this just kind of took me back to those kind of days, and I really enjoyed playing it. Next game was digitally as well, so next game was Limbo. Really enjoyed that one as well. And then the next one was Gears of War Ultimate Edition. So I played this multiplayer, co-op with Jay. Absolutely loved it. We had a ball of a time. We played it every night before bed, and he thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Even though it's an 18. Aye. Terrible parenting, like I've said before. But listen, we had a great time playing it, working together. Especially I remember the part where you had to shine like a spotlight down onto the floor, and your partner had to go along with the spotlight so the baddies didn't, the bats, was it like bats or birds or something, didn't get you. Aye, great game, fantastic co-op experience with the wee man. Next game I played was digitally, but I do have it physically, and this came from Bill, Betty Hall Clinic. He did our pickups earlier on in the year, and he picked up another copy of this, and he said that it was a double, and I said, listen, I'm interested in buying that because I absolutely loved it when I was wee, and he messaged me back saying you can have it for nothing. What an absolute star, an absolute gent. So he sent this up. I didn't play this one, I played the Switch version digitally, but I mean, this is just something that I'll treasure forever. I love the game. Next one was digitally again, which was Inside. So Inside and Limbo, both made by the same people. I preferred Inside. I thought Inside was a lot better. I thought it was a more polished product. I thought the graphics were nicer. I just felt it flowed better. I do know some people do prefer Limbo more. Jen, Retro Rival, she said she preferred Limbo more. But for me, it was Inside. Inside was it's a top 10 game for me this year. I thought it was fantastic. Next game, this game came from Eddie Rollercore when he was selling up. I remember he put up a couple of pictures when he was selling up a few of his things, and this is one of them that I wanted to grab off him, and it was Batman Brave and the Bold. Oh, love this game, it was so cool, man. It's just a cool 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up. Is it a beat-em? I think it is like a beat-em-up. You don't have a multi-plane kind of thing, it's just like one plane, but it is just running along, punching and kicking, and oh, it's just really, really cool. Really humorous dialogue as well. I did play this on the Game Boy, no sorry, the Nintendo DS last year as well, so I've now played the DS version and this version. You can link the two versions, so you can get Batmite that follows you around in this game, but you control it with the DS. But I couldn't get it working for some reason. I don't know why it didn't work. But I mean, it's stunning. The graphics are just comic book quality, like cartoon quality. It's fantastic. Next game was, sorry for that, a Switch game, Clash Force. Clash Force is another 2D platformer. It wasn't the best. It was quite limited and quite basic, but it was really cheap in the store. It must have been like £1 or something like that, so I picked that up. It was alright. I mean, it had a wee bit of potential, like the graphics and things like that were cool, but it just didn't. There was no substance to it really. Next one, Ghost of Tsushima. Fantastic game, honestly, what a game. You play as Jin Sakai, and the Mongols are taking over and like just absolutely decimating feudal Japan, and you've got to kind of fight them back. And whether you go as stealthy as a ninja, which is dishonourable, or you stay as a samurai and you face your enemies head on. And it's got fantastic sword play where it's like a one-on-one kind of thing. It will kind of freeze and then you've got to like flick your right stick and things like that. It's just really, really cool. And the world is massive. Graphics are sensational. It's an absolute tour de force game, this. Brilliant game. Next one I played was Inertial Drift, and this is kind of a cheat because I didn't finish the game all the way. There was like 4 or 5 different campaigns, and I got to the last campaign. So each campaign is a different character with a different driving style and a different car. The last car you control, so all the cars are quite weird to control because you've got to use both sticks. You've got like a drift stick and then a turning stick, and it's got quite a learning curve. Like the first car's not too bad, the second car gets a little bit more tricky, the third car is solid, the fourth car, I'm trying to think if the fourth one is the last one, I think it is. But anyway, when they got to the last one, this bloody learning curve was insane. It was so hard, I just could not control the car for love nor money. It was just solid, but I really did enjoy the game. It's got a gorgeous artwork, like cel shaded kind of neon kind of look. It was just a nice game to play. Next game was Umbrella Chronicles. So for the Wii, a light gun game. This is the only way that I've ever kind of played through Resident Evil 0. So in this one, you go back to Resident Evil 0 levels, and then you go back to Resident Evil 1 levels as well. Recently this year, actually, Retro Red Steve sent me the next one, which was Darkside Chronicles, so I need to get onto that at some point, because that one I'm sure goes back to Resi 2 and Resi 3, and Resi 2 is my favourite Resident Evil. But yeah, it was so cool, it was so challenging as well, and there was still some more stuff to do in it with Albert Wesker's kind of side stories, but brilliant. Next game was Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. So I got this from Glory Hunter, Scott. Brilliant game. I really enjoyed this because it was exactly what I was looking for at that time. It was just an adventure to kind of sink my teeth into and just get lost in and make progress every kind of playthrough, every kind of sit down with it. I managed to make progress, and that's what I was looking for. That's where I kind of get a little bit jaded and tired with open world games, where you don't feel like you're making progress after a sit down with a game. Whereas this is just classic. It's just that kind of beaten path, like make your way through it, and it's just really cool. And the big guy in it, can't remind his name, but the big, what you call him, Golem, the big guy, he just reminds me of Ludo from Labyrinth. It was just so cool. I really enjoyed this game. Next one was PS4 game digitally, which I streamed, which was Axiom Verge 2. I remember Eddie mentioning not long ago on one of his videos that he watched me play it, and I was getting lost. Man, I got lost so much in Axiom Verge 2. It was so tough. And like, Axiom Verge 1 was a fantastic game. Axiom Verge 2, fantastic game, but different. It's not as good as the first one because of the first one's impact it had at the time, but Axiom Verge 2 has definitely got a bit more production value to it, and it seems like they spent a bit more time with it, and I enjoyed both of them. Next game was Alan Wake Remastered. Fan-bloody-tastic. Aye, there's a lot of I played a lot of Remedy this year. I just absolutely loved it. Brilliant game. You also got the 2 DLCs with this. I can't remember what they're called. That's going to annoy me. That's really going to annoy me. And that's another thing I wanted to mention actually. I was talking to Mark Geordie Slasher earlier. Brilliant game, by the way. Talking to Mark Geordie Slasher, and we were talking about next year and how we're both going to copy John Bundy, because the way he does his 52 game challenges, as soon as he finishes a game, he'll just record a quick video of his thoughts, so it's all fresh in his mind, and then he'll just piece it all together at the end of the month or the end of 10 games or something like that, and it just all makes sense. Whereas I would leave it for 10 games and then make a video and forget half the stuff that I did in the game. But aye, John Bundy setting the example. That's what we like to see. Next game was Halo Reach. So this got an honourable mention in my top 10 this year. Really enjoyed this game. Like I said in my other video, if you think Star Wars Rogue One, then you're on the right path with that, story wise. Fantastic. Next game was digitally, so it was Arise. Arise, a simple story, gorgeous little game, just a lovely little, you play as a wee Viking guy and you're trying to get to the end of what looks like limbo, I guess. Every kind of chapter you see his life at the end, so you see him as a wee boy, you see him as a little bit more grown up wee boy, and then at the end you see him and his missus. It's just really nice. It's just a really nice wee game. And then another digital game, which was Jotun. Jotun was like a hand-drawn 2D isometric game where you go and fight off all the big kind of Jotun, the big what you call them? Gods. The gods from Norse mythology. Really cool. You fight Jormungandr as well. I tried to remember the name there. Jormungandr, so the big snake. It was a really good game, that, but it was pretty short. Next game, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. I was looking forward to this for the longest time because I played the first one last year or the year before, and the first one ended on such a high. Like, I remember when the first one ended, I was like, oh, I need to play the second one. It took me ages to finally bloody get this, but when I did get it and I played it, really enjoyed it. However, it did not live up to the ending of the first game, because the ending of the first game, you're like, it just kind of blew your mind a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm ready for the second one, and it just didn't live up to that kind of hype. But I did really still enjoy it. I think the artwork's brilliant. I think the performances are fantastic. So you've got Robert Carlyle and is it Patrick Stewart? Patrick Stewart. Like, brilliant, absolutely. I mean, it's not as good as the first one, sorry. The first one is a lot better. The next one is another top 10 for mine, which was Kazi, so that was digitally as well. Absolutely loved Kazi. I just think it was pixel perfect, input perfect. It was just brilliant. And I am on the lookout to get that as well physically, because I do want to get it in the PS4 so I can get some nice trophies for it. Next one was James Bond 007 Everything or Nothing. I can't remember what made me want to play this. I think it was either an Omega stream Omega Ace stream he was talking about it, or it was Martin Geekmaster talking about Bond. I can't remember, but I remember after watching one of them, I thought I want to play a Bond game, and this one was really cool. Shannon Elizabeth, Heidi Klum as the Bond girls, and then you had Willem Dafoe as what's his name? Diavolo, I think it was. Aye, really cool set pieces. PS2 game, can't beat it. Well, you can, but it was cool. Next one, PSP Daxter. So I just wanted to really play a PSP game. It's the only one I played this year, and I wanted it to be a platforming game, so Daxter was the choice. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. It did what I wanted it to do. It's got some cool little kind of pop culture references to movies. in between. So when Daxter goes to sleep, he dreams of Braveheart, The Matrix, and there's a couple of other movies I can't think of just now. But again, they're just like little mini games. They're nothing too substantial, but it was quite cool. Next game was Freedom Fighters for the Switch. So again, that was digitally, and that was a recommendation from Eddie. So it's very, very Sonic the Hedgehog inspired. Fast. There's 3 characters to go in it. I'm trying to remember all of it, but it was just really cool. There was loads of different, loads of nice dialogue and loads of depth, I think, once you go through each character. And every level there's always these little points in the level that you can't get to with a certain character, so you have to go through it as a different character to open up everything in the game. It seems like quite a big game if you go through it with all 3 characters. I only went through it with one, with the wee Dragon Girl kind of character, but it was cool. Next game, Half-Life 2. Brilliant game, obviously, it's an absolute staple. Again, it got an honourable mention in my top 10 because it's absolutely stunning. Everyone's played Half-Life, Half-Life 2, and if they haven't, then you just need to. Next one was a recommendation from Super Jimtendo, which was Golf Club Wasteland. What a brilliant game, honestly, it's so hard to put into words. It's just like a 2D golf game where you've got a power axis and you just shoot your ball, but it's not even just there's a surprisingly deep storyline in it as well. I can't put it into words, but the soundtrack is what really draws it in. It's like, so my god, how can you explain this game? So the world Earth has been decimated by humans. Like, it's no longer habitable, so everyone goes away to the moon or Mars or whatever, and the rich and the famous come back down to play golf on, like, urban golf on Earth. But then as you play through it, things happen in the storyline, and then it's just really cool. Honestly, give Golf Club Wasteland a go. The soundtrack is really cool. It's done in the style of like a radio station called, I'm sure it was Radio Nostalgia. It's just really cool. Next one, Tales of Arise. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I used to love playing RPGs all the time. I used to play RPGs all the time when I was wee, but in more recent years, in the last, let's say, 10 years since I've had Jay, RPGs are not my thing because they're just a bit too big, but I've always wanted to play another RPG. But this one was absolutely stellar. Where are we now? Yep. Next one was Jedi. So Jedi Survivor. Fantastic game again. Released at the beginning of the year. It was up for a couple of awards this year, which was really nice to see. But it didn't win any, I don't think. But it was still, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. Like, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. Like, I like Star Wars, I understand Star Wars, but I couldn't go into the nitty gritty of Star Wars, and that's why I like Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, because you don't need to know absolutely everything about Star Wars. You just need to know things like lightsabers and the Force, and do you know what I mean? Like, you can just jump into it and enjoy it for what it is. Next game was The Pathless. Am I getting mixed up here? No, The Pathless. Yep. Nice game. Wasn't too long. It's very rinse and repeat, but it's nice. I don't know how else to put it. It doesn't. You don't lose interest playing it. Like, you still feel like you need to go forward and forward and forward. And again, it's one of them games. Like, it's a big, massive game, but every time you play it, you feel like you're making progress. It's not. There's not like a wasted sit down with it. Like, you're always going in the right direction. Really cool. And Annapurna game as well. Like, they've got some good games. I remember, I think it was Eddie showed us a Annapurna collection that was going for like £100 or something like that. It looked really nice. Too expensive for me though. Next game was Spider-Man Miles Morales. Fantastic, honestly. I know a lot of people say this is just DLC. It's just nonsense. It's a fully fledged game and it's fantastic. and it sets Spider-Man 2 up, and it's a great companion to the original Spider-Man. So obviously the first one introduced Miles Morales, this one's all about Miles Morales, and then the second one is Peter and Miles together, and they all need to be played together, if that makes sense. Fantastic. Next game was a recommendation from Dad and Lads, which Tommy actually, he recommended Space Marine. Fantastic game. It's just exactly what I needed as well at that point. Just a no nonsense orc smashing good time. Honestly, it was really, really cool, and it sets up for this year. The sequel's coming, and I'm really, really looking forward to that as well, because I think it's going to be brilliant. And that's got a 3-player co-op, I'm pretty sure, so I need to see if I can get my little brother and big brother to play this game so we can play that one together. We always say that, like, me and my brothers will play a game together. We never bloody do, but aye, that was really cool, and it sets up the second one just nicely. The next one was digitally, and it was a shmup, and it was Rigid Force. That was very, very cheap on the eShop again, so snap that up. Really good, a nice little entry level shmup game, because I'm not really good at the shmups, but I really enjoyed it. It was crisp and it was flashy and it was nice music, and aye, it was really good. Next up was Final Fantasy 16. Absolutely stellar. I've got a Scottish brethren who's no quite into this game, so Generation Pixel, love you mate, but this game is peak, absolute peak. And then I've got another Scottish brethren who is on the same wavelength as me, I think, and that is Chicken Fillets. Absolutely, he loves this game as well. And I watched Eric Ladd as well, so one of Chicken Fillets' pals, he did his top 10 games of the year, and this was game number 1. Top lad, Eric Ladd. Fantastic. Love it. Oh, what a game. Next game was No More Heroes 2. Brilliant game. Absolutely brilliant. The first one, I mean, all three of them are absolutely insane. But this one was, I think this one probably was my favourite one, because it still has the open world kind of hub that you can scoot around in and things like that. It's just mad, like it's just insane. It's just insane. What does it say here? Dual beam katanas, slamming wrestling moves, giant robots, coconuts, chicks with short skirts, and bad attitudes. Brilliant, man. Another Remedy game. So we got Quantum Break. Love this game as well. Honestly, I can't believe that this game's been out for so long and I haven't played it, because it is definitely my style of game. Sorry. A blockbuster game. Great graphics. The only thing I would say is I wish they would do a remake. Not a remake, a remaster. Just to kind of smoothen everything out. It got to some points where it got a little bit jerky and framey. If this could just be polished up and re-released, it'd be fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was a great game. Next game was a digital game again, which is Kamiko. Kamiko is probably the shortest game you've ever played. You can finish it in like, there's 3 different characters, and you can finish the 3 different characters' stories in like 30 minutes. Honestly, 10 minutes each. You just blast through it. Once you know once you know how to open the doors and things like that, you'll fly through it. But it was really nice. Nice 8-bit so sorry. Nice 8-bit kind of graphics. It was really nice. Next game was Valiant Hearts, which is a digital game again on the Switch. It's based on the Great War, so the World War One, I think it was. Yeah, World War One, sorry. And it's really nice. It's got lovely art style. Obviously, it's got heavy tones of like the war and the loss and everything like that, but it was just really well done. There's a really cool level that I did a short on that was like music. I don't even know the name of this, sort of like a Beethoven symphony or something like that. But you're coming towards the screen in the car and you've got to kind of like dodge the missiles, but the missiles come down to the tune of the music. It's just really well done. I really enjoyed it. Next game, a top 10 game for me, which was Madison. It's creepy as anything. I don't like to go too much into it because this is going on for ages, but this is so scary, man. What was next? Control. Brilliant. I waxed lyrically about this in my top 10 video. Honestly, I played this before, platinumed it before, played it again, loved it. I need to go and platinum it again because it's just fantastic. I love the whole possibility of the Remedy universe and the possibilities of what they're doing with all the kind of AWEs and the objects of power. I just think it's so interesting and so so much growth can be done there. Next one was, oh, where is it? Harmony of Dissonance for the Game Boy Advance. So I got this from Ross Bahaha. He did tell me it's a repro, which I don't even know. I believe him though, because it's got like he told me because it's got like a Phillips head screw in the back, that means it's a repro. But it doesn't bother me. I played through it and it's good old style Castlevania 2D with lovely graphics, and it's just really, really cool. You've got to go into the castle to save your pal because she went missing in the castle. It's just really cool. Honestly, I think a lot of the Castlevanias are very similar in that kind of sense, but they're so good in that, and the gameplay that they have holds up every game that they come out with, if that makes sense. I'm so sorry. I've got my dressing gown on and a hoodie, man. I'm no well. So that's Harmony of Dissonance. Next one was Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Again, Ross Baha, he was streaming this, and I remember watching it, his first stream of it, and I fell in love with it straight up. As soon as I seen it, as soon as I seen him coming out of the cave at the start, and just kind of running along the water and things like that, and then meeting the little rots. It's a sensational game. Honestly, it's a special game. It's just that old school kind of adventure feel, like an old school 3D Zelda game. Very, very good. Honestly, top drawer. And then we've got Metal Gear Solid 4. So when I was playing this, Chicken Fillets was taking the piss out me because he knows of it. I don't know if he's played it. Maybe he has, but he was just saying, "Oh, is it another cutscene, another cutscene, another cutscene?" There's a lot of bloody cutscenes in this game, but what this game is fantastic. It was just a powerhouse for the PS3 at the time. When you're playing the game, when you do get to play the game, the gameplay is still super tight. It's fantastic. The only thing that I didn't like about this game was the Eastern European level, I think it was. We had to sneak through the streets. That was a pain in the arse, honestly. In fact, I don't know what it is at the moment, but I got a nice big game guide off of Retro Chef, and that helped me through that bit, because it was just honestly mind numbing. I hated it. But then once you get through that, man, and you go to Shadow Moses Island, oh my god, that makes the game, that level, when you go to Shadow Moses Island, and what happens at Shadow Moses Island is just sensational. Honestly, it's worth playing the game just to get to that level. Next one was No More Heroes 3. Again, batshit crazy. I do prefer the second one, but this was still really, really cool. It's kind of weird because it's like aliens that come down to fight you. But the thing that really threw me about this game, which was really, really annoying, was after I finished No More Heroes 2, and then I started this, somebody from No More Heroes 2 that died appeared in this again, and I was so confused. I was like, what the heck? But apparently there's another game on the PS3 called Travis Returns, I think it is. Travis Returns. And that is actually canonically No More Heroes 3. So this should be No More Heroes 4. That just threw me off, and I was pissed off with it straight away. But it was still cool, still has all that barmy, mental, stupid, big, larger than life fights. There's actually a really cool fight in it where you're fighting a boss, and the boss wants to fight turn-based, and Travis Touchdown's having none of it. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, what the hell is this? I've got to wait for you to hit me before I can hit you. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And then it just flips out of turn-based and goes modern and goes action RPG on his ass, and it was really cool. It was really funny, that bit. So the first game of our Club 52 was Fire Shark. Fantastic, absolutely loved it. And it's not a game that I would play normally. I'm not a big retro gamer, only because, not that I don't like retro, it's because I can't play retro. Retro is too bloody hard. I was playing Commodore 64 today, and I was getting nowhere, man. The games are just solid. But this one, man, honestly, this was the first game that came out. It was Retro Red Steve, his pick, and I was so chuffed when it came out. And I went straight to eBay and bought it. And I bought it for 40 quid, I think it was. It didn't come with a manual, but that doesn't bother me at all. It's a nice conditioned cart, nice conditioned case. So I was very happy with that. Super happy to have it in the collection as well, and to play through it with the guys and talk about it with the guys on a kind of daily basis almost. Like, it was just so nice, and everyone's pushing each other on to get it finished, and everyone got it finished. And it was just, the experience of playing it with the Club 52 was brilliant. What's next? Wolfenstein on the 360. So I've never played a Wolfenstein game. This is the first one I played. Really enjoyed it. It's got like it's very of its time, of that era kind of thing. It's like, it reminded me of like the first Darkness game, where you've got like a little city, village as your hub, and then you go off the beaten path onto different levels. It was really cool. I really wanted to get into like the Wolfensteins, but I didn't know where to start, so I thought I'd just go for the self-titled Wolfenstein. I don't want to go all the way back. So I just went to that one. Next one, again, this is from Dad and Lads Gaming. So Marcus sent me up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Fantastic, honestly. I've never played any Assassin's Creed games until a couple of years ago when I first played Black Flag. And every Assassin's Creed I've played since Black Flag has been so engrossing, and you just get stuck in the storyline that I can't believe I've never played them before. But this one, set with the Greek times, fantastic. I played as Alexios' storyline. The world map, I've mentioned in my other video, is absolutely humongous. Huge world map. Honestly, I finished it and there must still be like 60% still to uncover. It's a huge game, I loved it. Sorry, this is going on quite a bit. Next game was Digital, which was Iconoclasts. So it's a 2D Metroidvania. I don't know if it is Metroidvania. It does have Metroidvania, because you do have to go back sometimes to get like different little bits of secrets. But for the most part, you just kind of, you get pushed along in the one direction kind of thing. It was good as well. Next one was the second game of the 52 Club, which was Murdered Soul Suspect. Had a load of fun with this as well. Definitely my style of game, because it's more linear, story driven. Yeah, you can't get lost in this game. You can't get sidetracked or anything like that. There is some side missions which are optional. I think I did all the side missions except for one, and I think it was the bloody first one. That's one I didn't do, but I really enjoyed that. Whatever. Murder Soul Suspect, and then Returnal. Man, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Absolutely fantastic. Next one was Absolov. Not so good. I mean, it was okay. It was good enough to finish. I think that the premise of it could have been a lot better. The premise of it could have led on to a good game, but it wasn't really. It was a bit lackluster. I mean, on the back here, the Sixth Axis said a Norse take on Doom or Dead Space. Don't believe that, man. That's a load of shit. The Sixth Axis, nah, man. A Norse take on Doom or Dead Space. That is horrendous journalism right there. That completely misses the mark. It's neither of the two, Doom nor Dead Space. It was a shame because I thought it would be good, and it just wasn't. It had interesting parts, it had interesting premise. I just don't think it lived up. It's nothing like Doom, man. What's it talking about? It's nothing like Doom. Nothing like Dead Space. That's nonsense. It wasn't terrible though. It was okay. Only okay though. Next game, Absolov. And the next game was Quarry. Fantastic. I love these games. I'm not one to kind of go back to do multiple run throughs though. I just like to play it, see my story through to the end, and what a game. It's so good. And again, it's just one of those kind of experiences you can sit down every night and get a little something from it. Like you'll never leave it. You'll never finish your playthrough. You'll never finish your sit down with it thinking, oh, I wish I did this or I wish I did that. Like, it's just really good. Next one was Ghostwire Tokyo. Gorgeous looking game, absolutely gorgeous. Big massive open world, a big massive empty open world because Tokyo's been engulfed in like a fog and everyone's kind of disappeared. But there's so much character in it. Like there's so many different little ghosts that you go and see the ghosts and you do their stories to give them peace so they can move on. I didn't mind this game. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting this game to be scary, and it wasn't at all. I did like it though. I did like it, but once I got over the kind of disappointment of not what I thought it would have been, then I started to enjoy it a little bit more. The characters in it are so creepy though. The enemy models are so bloody creepy that they deserved a scarier game. Honestly, the character models are unnerving, they're weird, they're creepy. They deserve to be in a scary game, and this just isn't scary. But it was good. Oh, what's next? This one, Little Nightmares. So again, I mentioned this not long ago. Little Nightmares, I started it with Switch, put it down because the Switch just couldn't handle it. I don't know. I played it on the PS4 because I was playing it on the Switch. When I was playing it on the Switch, I died to the guy with the long arms, and then it took forever to load. Like, load times threw me off this game, so I put it down. But then I went back to it again digitally on the PS4 and absolutely loved it. Great game. Next game was The Chant. This game is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, honestly. A bit of a surprise. I knew that the game was going to be good. I've heard people saying it was good, but it was just a lot better than what I thought it would be. It took me by surprise, big time. I thought it was fantastic, honestly. Like the island, like being on the island and going after like the different people from your your cult, your little cult, and then going into their kind of like gloom, and you've got to kind of fight them off. To again, similar to Ghostwire, you have to kind of bring peace to them. But when you're in their levels, the colours are just really striking. It's just a gorgeous looking game. but again, nothing too powerhouse, like nothing too PS5 powerhouse about it. It was just the way the colours and everything were delivered, made it really stand out, and I thought it was fantastic. Dark Pictures, House of Ashes. Again, like I've said, I love these games. I've loved every Dark Pictures I've played. Shame on me though, I've never finished Until Dawn. I need to do that. But all Dark Pictures I've played, I've absolutely loved that. I don't think there's been a bad one. My favourite one is Little Hope. A lot of people don't like that one. But this one is just, I'm honestly, whenever I play any of the Dark Pictures, I'm in it. I love it. They all get their teeth in, and I just love the experience. I'm looking forward to getting eventually Devil in Me, and then I'm looking forward to getting. In fact, Devil in Me finishes off, I think, season 1 of Dark Pictures, and then there's going to be a season 2. I love them. I think they're brilliant. And then after that, we played Spider-Man 2. What can I say? This game didn't win anything at the Video Game Awards, which was a crying shame because it is sensational, honestly. Like, my top 10 I released not long ago, that shifts all the bloody time. All the time. This could be higher on the day. Oh, it's just brilliant. So sorry. And then after that, so like I said in my last video, my game of the year this year for 2023, it changed at the beginning of the year, or when it came out, was Final Fantasy 16. And that was game of the year for me, all the way until that released. And then this was game of the year. And then Alan Wake 2 came, so that was my next game. Alan Wake 2, I don't want to talk about it anymore because I've said everything I need to say about it. You're all schmucks. Next game was Donkey Kong Country 3. Not for me, man. Not for me. That was our third game in the in the Game Club 52. So we did Fire Shark, we did Murder Soul Suspect, and then we did Donkey Kong Country 3. It was just hard. It was hard for me. Like, I managed to get through it and I finished it, so I'm quite proud of that, and I'm happy that I did it, and I'm happy that I played it. But for me, like, it's got nothing on like Freedom Planet, like I played this year. It's got nothing on Kazi and the Wild Masks. Like, those games are just at a different level. Donkey Kong Country 3, for me, when people say that like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I do. Kazi and the Wild Masks is up here. Donkey Kong Country 3 is down here. But a lot of people will say Donkey Kong Country 3 is better because, and this is what annoys me, because it's a Nintendo game. People put weight in Nintendo. See, if that Donkey Kong Country 3 wasn't Donkey Kong, it wouldn't get as much praise as it does because it has Nintendo on it. That's just a wee rant. If Kazi was a Nintendo game and Kazi was replaced with Diddy Kong, that game would be a 10 out of 10. That game would be a game of the year contender. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Aye. Anyway. Next game was The Last Campfire. I really enjoyed this game. It was just really chill, especially after bloody Donkey Kong 3. Last Campfire was just really chill. You're on a wee journey to get to what's next, so what's after death, I guess. and you find all these other little embers kicking around, and they're in stone-like kind of stasis. So you've got to you click on them and you go in a little puzzle and you solve the puzzle, and you help the little ember move on into the next phase. I just thought it was really nice and definitely worth a go. And again, you can grab that for like £2, and it's £2 well spent. Next game was A Gift from Ross Bahaha. and it was Adventure Time's Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. I really enjoyed this. Gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. It's like a 2D Zelda. What do you call it? What do you call it, man? Link to the Past. That was called, Link to the Past. That kind of style. Really, really, really enjoyed it. I think I would have enjoyed it more if I'd known anything about Adventure Time, because some of the characters in that are just insane, like just weird, like mental. Like I did a short on it, and it was and there was there was like a cave full of raven bears, like raven, like disco, like it was mental, but I did enjoy it. Next game was digital, and it was Bastion, and I've heard of Bastion before, like many years ago, and I've always kind of put it off, and then I got it on the Switch store for like £2 or something, £3, and man, Bastion is fantastic. Honestly, what a game Bastion is. It's got a really cool soundtrack, but a kind of weird soundtrack. Like sometimes I would get like hints of Bollywood music, and then I would get hints of like country and western music. But the thing that really stood out was the narrator. The narrator was so cool in explaining what was happening, where you were going, and just explaining the wee guy's story. Bastion is a fantastic game, by the way. Next game was digital again, and it's Alan Wake's American Nightmare. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And this is what's good about this whole Remedy thing. The whole Remedy universe is full of like loops and twists and turns and holes, and so this American Nightmare. So obviously at the end of Alan Wake 1, Alan Wake's in the dark place, and then Alan Wake 2, he comes out the dark place. But does he come out the dark place? This is the thing. It's so cool, man. And then Alan Wake American Nightmare was released way back, like 10 years ago or something like that. And it's just Alan Wake in this little area in like, I don't know, Texas, Kansas, I don't know, can't remember. And there's like a little motel, and there's a petrol station, an observatory, and you have to go through that a couple of times. Like it's a loop, and it's just brilliant, honestly. So it just makes you think that when Alan is in the dark place, he's still trying to fight to get out of the dark place, and the dark place takes him to this place, and he's fighting off the same baddies, but then it loops, and then he saves this person, but then he can't save that person. Brilliant, honestly. The thing is though, like, all my games just fail. I'm getting too excited. So, sorry. Brilliant, Alan Wake, fantastic. That was it there, sorry. And then my games are everywhere. Fuck's sake. Like 60 games just fell on the floor, man. Anyway, moving on so we can finish this, because it's nearly an hour. For God's sake, man. Plague Tale Requiem. Again, I played the first one earlier on. Like I said, this game is a force, honestly. Like, an emotional journey for Amicia. The ending is wonderful, and it ends in the only way it could end, and it's just, it's bliss. This game is fantastic. Fantastic. The performance of Amicia is honestly second to none. I think it was Unnecessary Ramblings, his channel. He was talking, and he put these games on the same pedestal as The Last of Us, and I could not disagree with that at all. It definitely is up there, and a storytelling perspective on the same level. It's so bloody good. Next one, nearly there. 3 more games, we're done. 4 more games. Sonic Frontiers. Is it Sonic Frontiers? No, it's not. God's sake, man. See, all the games fell and I've lost my track of thought. Next one is the 4th game of the 52 Club Challenge, and that is Devil Kings. Very repetitive game. I don't think... I finished it with one character. I finished it with the Azure Dragon. I didn't feel like going to anybody else. I just went Azure Dragon because he's blue, and I'm quite a simple person, so I like blue, so I went the blue guy. Again, I watched Ross Bahaha. He streamed some of it, and when I was watching him stream it, I saw some things that I never seen on my playthrough. So, in that sense, there could be some depth to it, but I don't think there's enough depth for me to go back to it. But anyway, I think we're doing a stream on this next week actually. So, next one. Now it's Sonic Frontiers. I really enjoyed this game, and I know a lot of people don't like this. I know Mark Jolly Slasher doesn't like it. He said Sonic should only be 2D, so I called him an effing bloomer. Boomer. I said, you're just a boomer. No, but honestly, Sonic 2D, of course, is much better. But I just love this. Of course, it's still got the dodgy Sonic 3D camera that all Sonic 3D games have, just dodgy cameras. But the thing is, see when this game works, it works superbly well, honestly. It just doesn't do it all the time. Like, it's a 50-50 chance if it's gonna click and work. Like, there's a big open world you get to run around in, and then there's like little kind of set bits with springboards and grinding rails and things like that. And like I said, 50-50. Like, you jump on a springboard, you hit that rail, and you zoom around, and it can work beautifully. Or it can work terribly. Like, that's the thing. When it works beautifully, it's great. And when it doesn't, it's not so great. That's the thing. But I really enjoyed this. And I loved the traversal of it. I loved that you can go from one side of the map to the other side of the map just by running in a zip, in a flash, or you can jump on the rails and it takes you around the map as well. I thought this was good, man. I don't think people should write it off too soon. So second to last game was a recommendation from bloody everybody. Eddie, Ross, Scott, everybody in the 52 group, and then also on Twitter, Super Jimtendo again. He posted up this game, and it's Yoko's Island Express. That's a wonderful little game. Honestly, it's just so charming. As soon as I downloaded it, got up to the title screen, the music just instantly reminded me of Loco Roco. It had that kind of island kind of vibe to it. And then you started playing it, and you play as a wee dung beetle rolling about a wee ball of shite. Well, I don't know if it's a ball of shite, but that's what dung beetles do. And then it's a pinball Metroidvania. Honestly, it's a weird Barney game, but it's very good, very good. And then the last game I played this year, I don't think I'll finish another game this year. I might do, but for all intents and purposes, this is it. Was Dead Space. I got this for £5 in Asda. The best £5 I spent all year. It is so good, man. Honestly, like I said this as well before, I think on my pickup video. Like, if you have not played Dead Space before, for some reason you've not played it, go and grab this for a £5 because this is the definitive way to play it. It's got better graphics, it's got better sound. Isaac speaks in this. I'm pretty sure he didn't speak in the original. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. I'm sure he didn't speak in the first one. But anyway, Isaac as a character is just brilliant as well. Like, everything about this game is just satisfying. Like, the tone of the game, the walking down the corridors of the Ishimura is just creepy as hell. And then shooting the necromorphs and take off their limbs. It's just fantastic. This is one of the best survival horror games that have ever been made. It's just so good. Anyway, that is 76 games. That is an hour and 4 minutes. I am so sorry if you managed to stick around to the end. I do appreciate it. Because I've got COVID, you should feel sorry for me, to be honest, and you should have been here for an hour and 4 minutes. That's how I feel, anyway. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. Cheers. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.